Hey there, thank you for joining me for today's practice. My name is Paula. So today we're going to be working through pranayama, full yogic breathing, specifically for when you're feeling very tired or run down. So we're going to do the practice lying down on our back, and then we're going to come to a seated position and just do a couple of things there with the same breath practice. So really lovely just to restore and rejuvenate and fill yourself up a little bit if you're feeling really tired. So let's make sure you're nice and comfortable. I've popped a blanket underneath here just to soften the surface. And then I've also got a bolster. You could have a couple of pillows just for the end when we come back down into our Shavasana, just to place underneath our knees. So when you're ready, let's make a start lying down on your back. We're going to start with the feet flat on the mat, arms a little bit away from the body, palms facing up. Closing down the eyes. Starting to take a few deeper, fuller breaths. Starting to notice how you're feeling, how your body's feeling. And really allowing yourself to be here, however you are. Noticing the points of contact with the body and the mat underneath you, or your blankets underneath you, back of the head, upper back, mid back, back of the pelvis, the backs of the arms, the upper arm, the forearm, backs of the hands, and the soles of the feet. So with each exhale, allowing those points of contact to get a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier. Feel free to keep the eyes closed as we continue to move throughout the practice. If you do need to open them to see what's happening, then feel free to do that too. So we're going to start by placing the hands just below the bottom ribs, just on the kind of upper abdomen area. Fingers towards the midline of the body. Just allowing the elbows and the upper arms to stay relaxed. And then starting to breathe into the hands. So as you inhale, feeling the hands lift up and draw outwards. And then as you exhale, hands draw back in towards one another as the belly drops back. And then just continue with that action, inhaling. Hands draw apart. Exhaling. Navel draws in. You might even feel a lift of the pelvic floor as you exhale. And just continue inhaling. Lower ribs expand, and then exhaling. Belly falls back in. I'm going to continue with that action, but bring the hands to the sides of the rib cage now, and even have one of the thumbs just slightly behind the ribs. As you take an inhale, think about the sides of the ribs expanding out. And then as you exhale, the ribs contract and fall back in towards the midline. So just continuing with that action, inhaling to expand the ribs out to the side, and the lower ribs continue to expand as well. And then exhaling to allow everything to fall back in. And again, inhaling to expand. Exhaling to contract, navel draws in, pelvic floor lifts up. And just continuing. See if you can feel into the back ribs as well, expanding back into the mat and lifting slightly up as you inhale. As you exhale, everything comes back in. So now we've got the upper abdomen, lower rib cage area expanding, and the sides and the backs of the ribs expanding. Now we want to bring the right hand onto the chest and then the left hand back onto just the upper abdomen. And this time I just want you to focus on bringing oxygen into the upper part of the lungs as you inhale, thinking about the chest rising and expanding. Imagine breath being taken into the corners of the shoulders, so up into the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Without the shoulders lifting up. So now we've got the upper abdomen, lower ribs, sides of the ribs, back ribs, and also the chest. So thinking about the chest rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. Now you can keep your hands on the body if you'd like to, or you can release them down. And we're going to go with all of those points of contact. So lower ribs, sides of the ribs, backs of the ribs, and the chest. As you inhale, everything expands. And then exhale, everything contracts. Navel draws in. Squeeze out all the air, lifting the pelvic floor. And then again, inhale. Everything expands. And then exhaling. Everything contracts. Draw the navel in, lift the pelvic floor. And just continue, just using your own breath cycle. You might bring in that oceanic sound from that Ujjayi breath, a little slight contraction at the back of the throat to slow down the inhale and slow down the exhale. Just a couple more rounds here, lying on the back. And then when you finish off your next round, just allow the practice to go for a moment. Breath returning to its natural rhythm. And blinking open the eyes if they've been closed, rolling over onto the right hand side, make your way up to a seated position. So coming into a cross-legged position, whichever leg in front is fine. You could sit up on a blanket or a cushion or a block if you want a little bit more support in this cross-legged position. Otherwise, just resting the hands down onto the legs for a moment. Lifting out of the waist. And if you would like to close down the eyes again, feel free to do that. We're just going to come back to that full yogic breathing in this seated position. So thinking about the fronts of the rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, back of the rib cage, and the chest, all expanding on the inhale. And then as you exhale, drawing the navel in, sides of the rib cage draw in, maybe feeling into that pelvic floor, a little lift. Just continue with the practice. Opening up the eyes, just so you can see this next bit, we're going to interlace the fingers and we're going to coordinate the breathing with some simple actions here. So fingers in front of the belly, taking an inhale, full breath in. And then exhale, press the palms of the hands away. Inhaling, expand out through the front, sides, back of the ribs and chest. And then as you exhale, we're going to release the arms down and let yourself fold forward, squeezing out all of the air. Coming back upright, inhaling, interlace the fingers, bring the hands up. Exhale, press the palms of the hands away. Inhale, full breath in. Exhaling, releasing and allowing yourself to fold forward. Squeeze all the breath out. Inhale, sitting upright, bringing the arms up. Exhale, press the palms of the hands away. Inhaling, full breath, lower ribs expanding, sides of the ribs expanding, back of the ribs expanding. Exhale, releasing the arms and folding forward. Let's do that 2 more times, just in your own breath cycle. And last round, coming up, inhaling, just in your own time. Coming back upright. Just one more thing we're going to do. Let's take the legs out to the sides, coming into your wide-legged pose, flexing through the feet. Use your hands behind you to press down through the backs of the legs and lift up through both sides of the waist. We're going to take a similar action, but we'll go side to side just to finish off here. So we're going to take an inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, press the palms of the hands away. Inhale to open the arms out to the side. Exhaling, coming over to the right leg, reaching out through the left fingers. One full breath to hold, inhaling. Stay for the exhale. Inhaling, coming back upright and bring the fingers up to the chest. Exhale, press the palms of the hands away. Inhaling to open the arms out to the side. Exhaling over to the left, pressing down through the right sitting bone. One full breath, inhale. And staying for the exhale. And then taking an inhale to come back up. And let's just bring the legs back together. And making your way into your Shavasana. So if you've got your cushions or if you've got a bolster and you want to place that behind your knees, then go for that. And then lying down on your back, use anything that you feel like you need, or if you have got an eye pillow or a pillow underneath your head, then feel free to use that. Make yourself warm. Taking the time to make yourself feel as comfortable as you can here. Starting to completely surrender the weight of the body into the mat. Feeling supported by the ground underneath you. There's nothing to do but be here. You can let go of the breath practice we've been working on. Allow the breath to be as it needs to be. Allowing yourself to come to rest for the next few minutes. Feel free to stay resting here. You can come out in your own time. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. Namaste.